All right, guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be 5 games right now that I'm playing on the Analogue Pocket or the Game Boy Advance that I think you should probably check out because I'm having a ton of fun with them. I do have the Analogue Pocket dock on order. I'm not sure when I'm going to be getting it. So right now, this is just me filming myself actually playing these games on the Analogue Pocket. But hopefully in the future, once that dock gets in, because it's the only way you can really capture footage right now, I believe I will have some better footage capture. Let me know in the comments below what games you guys are playing on your Analogue Pocket. All right, so the first game I want to talk about here is Konami Crazy Racers, which is a kart racing game very similar to Mario Kart Super Circuit, but it came out before Mario Kart Super Circuit. It was released June 11th, 2001, and it's also available on your virtual console for the Nintendo Wii U. That's something you're interested in checking out. Really fun and good racing game. Uses like that Mode 7 style of graphics to make it look 3D. And of course, Konami Crazy Racer, so it has racers from the Konami series. So you have people from Castlevania, you have Dracula from Castlevania, you have Ganabear Goman series, so you have Ebi Sumaro, you have Goman from the also from the Ganabear Goman series, you have Gray Fox from Metal Gear Solid, you have an unlockable character, Vic Viper from the Gradius series, amongst other characters. Now, I haven't played every single one of these games that these characters come from. Another actually cool one I want to mention is Power Pro Kun from the MOE Power Pro series. So cool characters to choose from. But we jump in here and there's actually a lot to do. There's the main thing for this game that I would say is you're going to be playing is going to be the Crazy Grand Prix, which is just fun, good racing. You have easy, normal, hard, so you don't have like the CCs that you have in Mario Kart. And I'll just go in here and show you a bit of the game. Here's the character selections. I'm going to go with the Power Pro Kun guy, or however you say his name, and just jump into the Crazy Cup. There's 4 different Grand Prix you have to play through. And what's cool, what I really like about this game that's kind of different from Mario Kart is just the fact that you go through each Grand Prix, and I believe if you don't come in the top 3, you actually have to replay the race. And then once you finish the Grand Prix, you have the license center where you go to, where you have to go through some tests before you can actually open or unlock the next cup, which can be sort of difficult sometimes to complete. You have to do like time trials and then one-on-one races, and then it'll unlock the next Grand Prix to be able to play through. There's obviously all the weapons that you have here, like Mario Kart. You have like rockets, you have boosts, you have weapons that will take out the entire other racers. And one thing that I'm seeing while playing through this game is that I don't think the weapons are, just found that hole twice, but I don't think the weapons are based on what position you are in. Like, you can get a really powerful weapon even in first place. So other than that, I mean, it's just a fun kart racing game. If you like kart racing games, Crazy Konami Racers or Konami Crazy Racers, whatever it's called, I highly recommend checking out and playing. I mean, it looks beautiful, especially on the Analogue Pocket with this screen. It's just a really good looking game. All right, the next game here is Lord of the Rings The Two Towers. Now, this is a really cool game from what I've been playing so far. It is an RPG, it is hack and slash. There's so many elements to this game: dungeon crawling, enemies, different attacks, magic, all that type of stuff, all the stuff that you would expect from a Lord of the Rings game. And it is this, as you can see, this isometric view, and you start off by selecting who you want to play as, like Frodo or Legolas or Aragorn, and I think there's a couple other characters, Gandalf as well, you get to choose from. And you're going through, and it's a pretty deep RPG as I die here on my playthrough, but a pretty deep RPG. If you are looking for something that's like just a good hack and slash fun, but deeper and maybe give you a longer, more in-depth style of game, other than just like a kart racing game or a puzzle game or something, this could be a game to check out. It's very cool. Like, if we go here to the menu, I can show you all the stuff. You have all your gear, your weapons, your shield, and all of this stuff has stats that you get you find, you pick up and equip as you go through the game. You go here, you can see you have all of your different skills that you can go in upgrade. You have your active skills as well as your passive skills, and then you can see all of your stats here. So it's a pretty deep, in-depth RPG, I would say, for the GBA, which, I mean, that's I guess not the best thing to say because there are tons of great deep RPGs on the GBA, but for a game based off of a movie, which generally they're not always the best, but I actually remember these games from like the GameCube and stuff that were really good. The Lord of the Rings games in this era of gaming, they did such a great job. They were really fun to play, and they were deep. And the GBA version here has that like Diablo view to it, Diablo style of gameplay, and it's deep, it's fun, and I highly recommend checking this out if you're interested in an RPG where you just want to go grind, find gear, and play through a Lord of the Rings story. You really can't go wrong with this one. All right, next up we have here one of the best games on the Game Boy Advance, and one of my favorite games for sure, and that is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Now, I'm a huge Tony Hawk fan. I've played them all pretty much, and I loved them on like the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2, and GameCube and Xbox and stuff. They're just some of my favorite games. They're just pure fun, and even the remakes on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, love the remakes of those. They did such a great job with them, and the game here on the Game Boy Advance is just as good as pretty much all of those games. The biggest difference between the main console versions, as you guys can see here, is going to be the view, and then the graphics, and then the soundtrack. That's the biggest difference. I would say that would be a drawback of the GBA stuff, is that they don't have the great soundtrack that makes these games, but it's still so well made. It has everything that you'd want in a Tony Hawk game. It has the career mode, has the free skate, and the controls. I mean, it controls so well. It is very fun to play. As you can see here, I'm just zipping around, doing a bunch of tricks. And one of the things I will suggest, if you are playing this on the Analogue Pocket, which gives the Analogue Pocket a huge advantage than playing it on the actual GBA itself, is that you can go ahead and change the controls here. And I went in here and I changed the L and R buttons to, because this would be the X and Y buttons, or the Y and X buttons down here. And it just makes it so easy, because these two buttons here are going to be your grab and flip tricks, rather than having to use the L and R buttons here, which, to be honest, that's probably one of the worst things about the Analogue Pocket, is these here, if you have bigger hands, can sometimes be a little bit unergonomic. Not terrible, but definitely not as good as if it were in like this type of orientation. But anyways, it is, I gotta put that back there. It is such a great Game Boy Advance game. I can't recommend it enough. So Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, go and make sure to check this game out if you haven't yet. All right, next up we have here is Chuchura. Now, this is a puzzle game from Sega. Really fun puzzle game, originally released on the Dreamcast. Then we got this port over here on the GBA, and has a ton of game modes. And as the name implies, Chuchura, you have these mice who are trying to get on these rockets, and you have to guide them via puzzles that progressively get harder as you move through the game. And basically, you want to put an arrow down, and that arrow will move the mice in a certain direction. And once they all get to the rockets, that's how the puzzle gets beaten. You can speed it up. Eventually, with this first puzzle, I mean, this is a really easy one, and it gets harder as you go on. It will clear the stage, and you can see the rockets take off and move over here. Here's another one. And I mean, it's just super simple. And there's lots of the puzzles get much harder, and then you can reset it, right, if you don't do it properly. But the puzzles get much harder as you go on, because there are more obstacles you have to go through. There are cats that you have to avoid from eating you, enemies and stuff. You can see here, this one continues as we go through. Kind of hard to do this over camera, but here it is. I hope I hit the right arrow there. Be able to get to this rocket. I'm pretty sure I have, because I don't think those mice can go anywhere else. But like I said, it's a very fun puzzle game, and it's addicting to try to figure out what the puzzles are, especially as you get further on into the game itself. And hopefully, here's the next one. You can see there's cats that are going to try to eat you. You have to avoid these cats, and this is only one guy, which I have two actual arrows here I gotta put down, so I'm guessing it's there and there. Avoiding those cats. These cats are actually in a cage, so this one's not too hard. But yeah, Chuchura, make sure to check it out if you like puzzle games. Addicting, you'll have a great time with it. All right, next up here we have Max Payne for the GBA. Now, this is a game that really surprised me, because I enjoyed the Max Payne series. I really liked them on the main at-home consoles. So I saw this and I'm like, okay, let's check it out, see how it is. I'm guessing it's going to be a way dumbed down version of it compared to the at-home consoles one. And boy, was I wrong. It's a ton of fun. Obviously, the graphics aren't the same, and obviously the view isn't the same, but it is a third-person isometric shooter, has bullet time, has all of the Max Payne things that you would expect a Max Payne thing to have in Game Boy Advance form, and it plays very well. The story is told in like a comic book format, and it's just a really well done, fun game with good shooting mechanics, good exploration mechanics, and then obviously the Max Payne story that has been good. And so if you are into Max Payne and you're thinking, I wonder if this is worth my time, I would check it out 100% on the GB. And then again, playing it here on the Analog Pocket game looks great with the screen and everything. Max Payne with the Game Boy Advance, highly recommend it.